Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is Rubidium. Today we are looking at Dutch angles, the off-kilter, askew sort of framing that gives a sense of something's wrong, a growing sense of dread. There are a bunch of videos out there of why to use Dutch angles and what effect they give, but today we're going to look at actually how to get your camera tilted to the side to capture a Dutch angle and the three different ways that work. So the most common way of getting a Dutch angle is just debubbling your camera. If you unscrew the bottom of your bowl head and just tilt it to one side, you will get a pretty usable Dutch angle. It does impede your ability to operate very well, but you're not going to do too many whip pans with a Dutch angle. The limitation of the debubbling method is that you can only go so far, especially if you have a cage or a heavy camera. You can probably tilt 5 to 10 degrees to the most. There's also no way of accurately recording how much you tilted the camera so that if you want to do your reverses, you want to match the tilt, you just basically do it. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. Another way, which I would not recommend, is shortening one leg of the camera and tipping the entire rig over on its side. Definitely want to keep a hand on the camera while you're shooting like this. It is super unstable, very difficult to operate at this angle, but if you have markings on your tripod or you choose to mark your tripod, you can, do different levels, and you can, Dutch your camera with a short tripod leg all the way over to 45 degrees. A cool way to get a Dutch angle if you're shooting on a table or a flat surface or on the ground is just use wedges like you would for a dolly track and insert them underneath the camera and mark where you're putting your wedge and how far in it goes so that you can say 5, 10, 15%. This is safe. The camera's not really going to topple over, and if it does, the worst it's going to do is fall on its side. And also you can measure and mark accurately how much tilt for what shots. Disadvantage is you don't always want the camera on the ground, and you're not always going to have a table or a big flat surface to use. The last method is a professional Dutch head. This one is called the Cam Tank from Matthews. You place it either on a surface or in between your tripod and your camera, and you're able to unscrew this side and then precisely measure and tilt your camera as much as you want. You can do 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15, all up to 30 degrees. And then you could further debubble your camera and tip all the way to 45 if you wanted to. What's great about this is that it will hold the biggest and heaviest type of camera safely. You can also record and match your angles. So say you're shooting a reverse shot of a conversation. Halfway through the conversation, you tilt one person's single shot to 5%. And then the last part of the conversation, you increase that tilt to 10%. When you turn around and shoot the other person's singles or over the shoulders, you can tilt the camera to that exact 5% at the same point in the conversation and 10% in the corresponding point in the conversation. I know I said there were 3 types of Dutch angle methods. I think we're up to 5. I'll add a 6th one, which is a digital Dutch, meaning if you are shooting 4K like we are here, but only mastering in 1080p, you can Dutch the angle in post. You can just rotate the frame, very controllable, and with the added advantage of if you decide you don't like the Dutch angle later, you can take it out. But it's all about having versatility, and you definitely get more effect because of you can choose your frame more accurately and take advantage of all those cool converging lines in your Dutch angle if you do it on set. Cam Tank isn't cheap for an independent filmmaker, at least. They run about $1,700, but you can rent one for $20 a day, and it has the added advantage of being able to, if you orientate your camera by 90 degrees, give you high angles on a tripod safely. You can also use it as a lower than a hi-hat and placing your camera directly on the ground and still doing pans and tilts that way. That's my look at how to achieve Dutch angles with your camera in your filmmaking. Thank you very much for watching. Links to this stuff is in the description, and I will see you next time.